At the beginning of Rising Sun, there were originally 4 founders, and they came from quite diverse backgrounds. There were 2 of us who were working at the previous company that I was at. My background was as a cinematographer. I'd been writing computer code at that company to write the user interface for a robotic camera system. Gail, one of the partners, had come from architecture, which was a creative field as well, but she was running the office and the finances of that company, so she had a strong financial strength. And she and I believed that we, as a business at that company, ought to be getting back into computer graphics. And so we put our money where our mouth was, and we financed at that company the purchase of some software to enable that. And then we came across 2 guys who were coming through university that were put in front of us, who we essentially sponsored to go and create a piece of work to bootstrap the computer graphics business of that company. And that worked quite well, but what we had there was a set of quite complementary skills, where I had this camera sort of live action background. There was a financial / architecture. There were 2 guys who were intensely creative coming through from university. One had more of a technical bent. And so there was in that group a set of complementary skills that initially sparked off each other around the same idea. So we all wanted to do the same thing, which was to build a business in computer graphics, and we all believed the same thing, that that was possible to do it here in South Australia. As we grew on, we found more people who were similarly aligned to that vision and who were interested in doing what we were doing. So Rising Sun Pictures is broken down into a series of teams around the various disciplines. And so there is a team which is the layout team. They take shots that have come from productions and they put the various 3D things in there to design how the shot's going to look visually. Then there's a lighting team, and there's a surfacing team, and there's an effects team. And within each of these teams, there will be a leader, and that person is essentially the point person for that team. And so the effects team here can have anything up to 30 artists working for it. And the team leader in there is the person who looks after making sure that the work goes to the right person in the team who's best able to deliver that well. Equally, those teams have their taskings done for them by a production manager. So each of those team members knows on any given day what they need to get done and how much time is in the budget to get that work done. And then we also monitor back again how they're going against those tasks, so that we can identify if somebody's struggling to get on with their work and help them to make sure that it happens well and within the time that's allotted. Historically, we haven't been good at that, and this is something which is still evolving. So while I talk about it as being something which is defined, it's evolving, and we're still finding the best way to get what is a creative workforce into the groove of delivering things within a finite amount of time. Because again, going back to the financial effectiveness that you need to have as a business in this time, it's really important for us to be able to deliver things on budget, because you can very, very quickly lose track of your projects and find yourself financially underwater. We've had that happen to us historically, and a part of that learning is to bring new blood into the company that brings with it project management expertise, project accounting expertise, and to provide new focus on how it is that we task our work into our teams and make sure that it gets done effectively. But at the same time, there's still a group of creative people. So those teams need to have a good rapport amongst each other. They need to have a good rapport with the person who is their lead in a management sense, to be performance managed as required, but also to have a friendly and open environment where they can exchange ideas and they can learn from each other, and they can provide their knowledge to their peers in that group. So the team cohesion and the effectiveness of the team is right at the heart of what it is that makes the business creatively and financially successful. And that's an area that we're working really hard on at the moment to improve, because it's something that historically hasn't been a problem. Historically in our business, there's been no shortage of money available for what we do, but as the digital effects industry becomes more commoditized, it becomes more financially competitive. And so it's necessary to have a really strong focus on team level effectiveness, because that team level effectiveness drives the efficiency of the ability to execute the project as a whole. Having a shared vision for a business like ours is really important. And in the beginning, it was really simple. We had a very, very simple shared vision, which was to go forward and do good quality computer graphics for movies. And so that formed the cornerstone of what we did when we started the business. And it was really easy for people to rally around, because as a market, the number of companies that were doing computer graphics in the world was like less than 40 probably in 1995. So it wasn't hard to break in there. And in Australia, there were no companies that were successfully doing regular work on digital production on movies. And so it was at the time quite simple. What's happened though is that our market has diluted, it's become very, very global, it's been enabled by communications, and so that vision is not enough anymore. And we need to continue to refine that vision and improve it and communicate it.